Every time your heart pounds and doubt creeps in, you stand at a choice point. Give up or push forward. Imagine feeling that tight knot in your chest right now. Are you tired of waking up and telling yourself you'll start tomorrow? Do you want to see real change before it's too late? In this video, you'll discover how to change your mornings, cut out the reasons that hold you back, face fears bravely, and build a mindset that refuses to lose. You'll learn practical steps that people use to win, even when life gets hard. Stay with me because inside this video are detailed, simple actions you can apply today to see progress. If you want to wake up each morning ready to move toward your goals and never let doubt win again, then watch until the end and commit to your own victory and win every day. Number 1, wake up early and attack your goals daily. You wake up and the first thing you feel is resistance, that heaviness in your chest, that mental fog, that small voice whispering, just a few more minutes. But that's where most people lose, right there. Before the day even starts, they let the first moment of the day be ruled by hesitation. And I'll tell you the truth. If you lose the morning, you're already behind. Not just on your tasks, but in your mindset, in your focus, and in your fight. If you want to win in life, truly win, you've got to understand something. Most people avoid. Your mornings are where your power begins. Your mornings decide the direction of your entire day. If you start slow, distracted, scattered, you build a pattern of weakness. But if you start with intent, with action, with energy, you build momentum that lasts. You don't need to be the smartest. You don't need to have a perfect plan. You just need to win the morning and do it over and over again. When I say wake up early and attack your goals daily, I mean build a rhythm that keeps you alive inside. I mean stop waking up just to exist and start waking up to conquer. Most people roll out of bed because they have to. They've got responsibilities, obligations, things to do. But that's not the life you want. That's not what winning looks like. Waking up early is a statement. It's you saying, I'm in control now. And that one act, rising with purpose, will change the way you live the rest of your day. But I get it. It's not easy. It won't feel natural at first. You've got years of comfort built into your habits. That bed is warm. The silence of the early hours can feel uncomfortable. You'll want to quit before you even start. That's your old self clinging on. The version of you that accepted average. The version that hit snooze on life. The world doesn't care how you feel in the morning. The world rewards the ones who show up. Not once, not when it's convenient, not when they're in the mood, but every single day. If you want to rise above mediocrity, if you want to feel proud of your life, it starts before the sun comes up. I've met people who've built million-dollar businesses, changed their bodies, transformed their lives, and every single one of them has one thing in common. They didn't wait for motivation. They created it by moving first. They woke up before the world demanded something from them. They gave that time to themselves, to their goals, to their future. You want to feel in control of your life? Then stop giving your mornings away. Don't check your phone first. Don't scroll. Don't escape. Stand up. Breathe in the silence. Remind yourself who you want to be, and then move. Right. Train. Build. Learn. Act. Do something that brings you closer to your vision. Not next week. Not after breakfast. Right now. Use that early hour as a weapon. You're sharper. You're clearer. No one's calling. No one's demanding anything. It's just you and your decision. You know why people stay stuck? It's not because they don't want more. It's because they never commit to a real structure. They hope motivation will carry them. But motivation fades. Structure doesn't. Discipline doesn't. Winning requires repetition. It requires daily pressure. That's why waking up early isn't a lifestyle trend. It's a battle plan. You're training your mind to lead, to own time instead of chasing it, to attack goals instead of reacting to problems. You can't control everything life throws at you, but you can control how your day begins. If you start strong, you build the inner power to face everything else. If you wake up late, anxious, scattered, your energy's already scattered before you even begin. Ask yourself, how do you expect to win big if you can't even win your own morning? Start with something small, a goal, just one thing you'll do when you wake up, something clear, something that matters. Maybe it's reading 10 pages. Maybe it's journaling for 5 minutes. Maybe it's going for a walk with no noise, just your own thoughts. And you do that thing, no matter how you feel. And then tomorrow, you do it again and again until your brain no longer debates it, until it's normal, until it's who you are. And when you build that pattern, everything changes. Because now you're not depending on chance. You've created a habit of progress. You've built a new identity. Not someone who hopes to succeed, but someone who's proving it every morning. People ask me, Jim, how do I stop feeling lost? I tell them, start with the first hour of your day. Win that. Own that. Make it yours. You'll think clearer. You'll act stronger. You'll start to believe again. Most people feel lost because they're reactive. They're always responding to life instead of creating it. But if you wake up early and move with purpose, your whole day becomes a statement. You're not drifting anymore. You're deciding. And don't wait for a perfect morning to begin. It won't come. You don't need a perfect environment. You need a real reason. Something that pulls you out of bed when your body says no. A vision that matters. A life that excites you. A purpose you can feel in your chest. You think you're tired. Try living a life you don't that drains you more than any early morning ever will. The truth is, your energy comes from alignment. When you know your time is being used well, you feel more alive. You move differently. You speak with confidence. You walk with power. That comes from honoring your goals before anything else gets a piece of you. Your future is built in the early hours. When the world is quiet and your mind is loud, that's when it's all on you. No distractions, no noise, just choices. That's where your routine begins. That's where your hunger grows. So stop looking for motivation and start building structure. Stop chasing balance and start chasing discipline. Stop waiting for change and start creating it. Every morning is a test, and your results will reflect whether you passed or failed. Wake up early and attack your goals daily. Not because it's easy, but because you're not here to live like everybody else. You're here to win, and winning doesn't start when people are watching. It starts in silence. It starts when no one claps. It starts before the sun rises. And if you can do that, if you can claim your mornings and take charge of your time, then you've already separated yourself from the crowd. You've already stepped into your power. You've already begun to win. So don't wait, don't wish, don't hope. Wake up early and prove that you mean it. You will not stop until you win, and it starts tomorrow morning. Number 2, cut out every excuse that weakens your drive. You don't need another chance. You need to stop lying to yourself. That's the truth. And most people won't tell you that, but I will, because I respect your time and I know what's at stake. If you keep making excuses, you will keep losing. Not because you're not capable, but because you keep giving yourself permission to stay weak. And that permission, those little excuses you make to justify inaction, are the very things killing your progress. You want to win? Then you've got to get brutally honest with yourself. No filters, no soft talk. Look at where you are right now. Not where you want to be, not where you hoped you'd be by now. Where you are actually standing in your life. Are you proud of it? Are you proud of the work you've put in? Are you proud of your decisions, your consistency, your intensity? Or have you been just getting by, fooling yourself with reasons that sound smart but keep you stuck? Excuses sound like logic when they come from fear. You'll tell yourself you're too tired, too busy, too overwhelmed. You'll say timing isn't right, that your situation is different, that other people have it easier. But none of that changes the facts. You've got one life, one shot, and every excuse you choose to protect is a step away from the person you say you want to be. People don't change when they feel comfortable. People change when they get disgusted with their own patterns, when they see the gap between their potential and their behavior and say, enough. That moment, that emotional line in the sand, is the start of real transformation. Not talk, not dreaming, not wishing, action, only action. The problem is, most people are experts at defending their excuses. They've rehearsed their stories so many times that they actually believe them. They've said, I'll start Monday, so many times that Monday has become meaningless. They've told themselves, I can't focus today, so often that they stopped even trying. They've trained their mind to serve comfort, and that comfort becomes their cage. If you want to break out of that cycle, you need a standard higher than your excuses. You need to hold yourself accountable to the life you say you want, not the feelings you have in the moment. Feelings lie. Discipline tells the truth. And when discipline is in charge, excuses don't survive. You're not too tired. You're just not excited enough about what you're building. You're not too busy. You're just not honest about how you waste your time. You're not unlucky. You're just not consistent. And until you face that, nothing changes. You can read every book, listen to every podcast, follow every influencer. But if you're still making excuses, you're standing in your own way. Every excuse weakens your drive because it tells your mind that giving up is acceptable. And the more you accept it, the more you repeat it. You create a habit of quitting. You teach your brain that almost is good enough, that tomorrow is a real strategy, that I'm not ready is an intelligent answer. And it's not. It's avoidance. It's fear disguised as logic. But there's a part of you, even right now, that knows this, that's tired of playing small, that's tired of wasting time. That part of you is your real identity, the one that wants to push, to grow, to win, and it's fighting every day against your excuses. Which one are you feeding more? If you feed your excuses, you stay in the same cycle. Wake up, feel stuck, give in, repeat. But if you feed your drive, your discipline, your clarity, your action, you create a new cycle. You wake up, you act with purpose, you stack wins, you grow. I've watched people change their entire lives, not because they got lucky, not because their problems disappeared, but because they stopped tolerating their own excuses. That shift, that decision, that personal line in the sand changed everything. You've got goals, you've got dreams you still think about when no one's around, but dreams without discipline are just wishful thinking. If you're serious, if you're hungry, then stop lying to yourself about what it takes. It takes doing what most won't. It takes showing up when it's boring. It takes saying no to what drains you. It takes being uncomfortable on purpose. Every time you catch yourself about to make an excuse, stop. Ask yourself, is this excuse helping me or holding me back? Is this story I'm telling myself making me stronger or smaller? And then act against it. Not later, now. Every time you reject an excuse and take action, you build a stronger version of you. You sharpen your edge. You prove to your brain that you're in control, not your emotions, not your fear, not your comfort zone. If you want to feel alive, if you want to look in the mirror and respect who you see, then demand more from yourself. Raise your standard. Stop explaining your delays. Start showing your results. People around you don't need more promises. They need to see you moving. You don't need to convince anyone of your potential. You need to show it in the way you live every single day. Excuses will always be available. There will always be a reason to quit, to delay, to settle. But there's something else that's always belly too. Discipline, focus, clarity, action. And that choice is yours. Every moment of every day. No one's coming to take the excuses away for you. No one's gonna beg you to stop playing small. This is your responsibility, your life, your mission. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just need to stop defending the very patterns that are holding you back. You need to draw a clear line and say, I will no longer accept this from myself. Do you know what happens when you stop making excuses? You stop waiting. You stop hoping for things to get easier. You get to work. You build. You learn. You fall, you stand back up, and you start gaining real confidence. Not fake motivation, not surface level hype, but deep self-respect. The kind that comes from effort, from sacrifice, from facing hard truths, and doing what's required anyway. You were not born to make excuses. You were born to rise. And if that fire is still inside you, even if it's small right now, then protect it, feed it, use it. Let it guide you out of your patterns and into your potential. So the next time you hear that voice in your head, the one that offers you an easy way out, don't negotiate with it. Don't entertain it. Cut it off and move forward. That's how you win. Not with talent, not with luck, with decisions, with truth, with action. Cut out every excuse that weakens your drive, because your future isn't waiting. And the longer you delay, the more power you give to the life you don't want. Today you take it back. Today, you step up. No more reasons, no more stories, only results. Now go earn them. Number 3, face your fears and move through them fast. Fear doesn't leave on its own. You have to face it or stay trapped. That's the decision. And no one else can make it for you. You either choose to move through it or you stand still and let it run your life. That's how it works. And the longer you avoid it, the bigger it feels. The more you delay, the more control it takes. That fear you keep trying to ignore, it doesn't go away just because you distract yourself. It grows in the silence. It gets louder every time you let it win. You know what fear really is? It's a test. Not to see if you're scared. That's expected. It's a test to see if you'll still move. It shows up to ask one question. Will you let this stop you? And if your answer is yes, you lose that round. You give fear the power. You teach yourself to retreat. And soon, every new challenge feels impossible. But when you look it in the eye and go forward anyway, something changes in you. You start building a different version of yourself. Not a fearless one, but a braver one. You realize that fear doesn't have to be the signal to stop. It can be the signal to go. It can mean there's something here I need to do. That edge, that discomfort, that pressure, that's where you grow. Most people wait to feel ready before they move, but ready doesn't come. Confidence doesn't show up first. Action comes first. And through action, you earn clarity. Through movement, you learn that fear isn't a wall. It's a mirror. It reflects what you need to face, not what you need to avoid. You've got dreams that scare you. That's good. That means they matter. If you weren't scared, it would mean you're not reaching high enough. But fear is not the enemy. Hesitation is. Overthinking is. Freezing up is. You can feel fear and still move. You can feel your hands shake and still pick up the phone. You can feel your chest tighten and still step onto that stage. Because progress lives on the other side of that choice. People think fear is weakness. It's not. Fear is a sign you care. Fear is a signal that you're stretching, that you're in unfamiliar territory, and that's where real transformation begins. But if you wait to be comfortable before you move, you'll never get there. You'll build a routine around safety instead of strength, and that's how people settle. Not because they don't have potential, but because they've built a habit of backing away every time fear shows up. But the people who grow, who rise, who lead, they feel the fear and go anyway. Not recklessly, not carelessly, with purpose, with clarity, with discipline. They face the conversation they've been avoiding. They take the step they've been thinking about for years. They stop waiting to not feel scared and start moving in spite of it. You want freedom? Then you've got to take control of what scares you. You've got to put yourself in those uncomfortable places and refuse to run. You've got to stop telling yourself that someday will come, because someday isn't real. Today is. Right now is. You either act or you repeat. Think about the things you've delayed, not because they were impossible, but because they were intimidating. How long have you waited to speak your truth, to ask for what you deserve, to change the path you know isn't right? All of those decisions are sitting behind one thing, fear. And the only way to break it is to face it. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have everything figured out. You just need to step, and then step again, fast. Don't overthink it. Don't analyze it to death. Just move. Momentum will do more for you than months of planning. Action teaches you what fear tries to hide, that it's beatable, that it's temporary, that it shrinks the second you stop running from it. There's something powerful that happens when you move fast through fear. You take away its power to grow. You cut off its ability to paralyze you. You stop it from building stories in your head that don't match reality. Because most of the fear we feel isn't based on truth. It's based on what might happen. What if I fail? What if they judge me? What if I'm not enough? But here's the better question. What if you rise? What if you move through the fear and discover who you actually are? What if you realize that the limits you thought were real were just habits of thought? What if you prove to yourself that fear doesn't have to be your ceiling? The truth is, you already know what to do. Deep down, you know what step you need to take, but the fear makes you doubt it. So let's make it simple. Stop thinking getting the outcome and focus on the step. Just one, then another, and another. That's how change happens. That's how courage grows. You don't need permission. You don't need approval. You need movement. You need to stop feeding the fear and start feeding your future. You don't wait for fear to leave. You decide to walk through it. You decide that staying stuck is more painful than stepping forward. You decide that your goals are worth more than your comfort. When you do that, something unlocks in you. You start to build trust with yourself. Not because you feel confident all the time, but because you showed up when it was hard. That's where real strength comes from. That's how you create self-respect, by taking the hard path on purpose. And that self-respect becomes the foundation. It becomes the fuel. Because when you know you can face fear and move anyway, you stop negotiating with small thinking. You stop lowering your standards to fit it. You stop hiding from the parts of life that require you to show up fully. Fear is part the path, but it doesn't have to be the reason you stop. It can be the reason you rise. You don't need to eliminate fear. You need to make it irrelevant. You need to take the action so quickly that fear doesn't get a chance to grow. The window between thought and action needs to be small. That's where confidence is built. Not before the action, but after. The more you face what scares you, the more you take back your mind. You take back your energy. You stop leaking power into worry and start directing it into action. You stop asking what could go wrong and start asking what's worth fighting for. So today, identify the thing you've been avoiding, the conversation, the decision, the risk, and move. Don't wait for another sign. Don't wait until you feel calm. Move through it fast. Run toward it with focus. That's how you beat fear. Not with talk, not with theory, with action. And the more you do that, the more you realize something life-changing. Fear doesn't define you. What you do in the face of fear does. That's your identity. That's your strength. And that's how you win. So stop feeding fear. Stop dragging your feet. The life you want is on the other side of the thing you're afraid to do. And you're strong enough to do it. Move through it now. And don't look back. Number 4, push harder every time your mind says quit. The moment your mind says stop is the exact moment you must go harder. That's the test. And most people fail it. Not because they can't keep going, but because they've trained themselves to give in when it gets uncomfortable. And here's what you need to understand right now. Your mind will always take the easier road if you let it. It's built to protect you. It's built to conserve energy. But comfort doesn't produce strength. It doesn't lead to greatness. It doesn't give you the life you keep saying you want. The mind is tricky. It speaks in doubt. It whispers, "You've done enough." It says, "Take a break." It tells you, "There's always tomorrow." But those thoughts aren't truth. They're a trap. Because every time you accept that story, you strengthen it. You teach yourself to back off instead of push forward. And the more you do that, the harder it becomes to trust yourself when it matters most. You want to win? Then you've got to build the habit of pushing right when it hurts. Not later, not when it's convenient. Right there in the moment where your body wants out, your mind says quit, and everything in you feels like backing down. That's where you double down. That's where you build resilience. That's where the winners are made. Not in the easy reps, but in the ones that feel impossible. Discipline is not born from motivation. It's born in the war zone between your mind and your actions. And the moment you choose not to quit, that's where power begins to grow. That's where identity is formed. That's where self-belief is built. Not by talking about it, not by journaling it, but by doing it again and again, especially when it's hard. You have to stop thinking that progress will always feel good. It won't. Sometimes it will feel like pain. Sometimes it will feel like sacrifice. Sometimes it will feel like you've hit your limit. And then you realize you haven't. You've just hit the edge of your comfort zone. And if you turn around there, nothing changes. You stay the same. You repeat the same life. And that's the real pain. There's a kind of power that comes from knowing you didn't stop. That you kept going even when it burned. Even when your lungs screamed. Even when your mind begged you to slow down. That's when the gap between you and the average gets wider. Because average people stop there. Strong people don't. Push past that moment, and you become someone new. You stop being driven by feeling and start being driven by purpose. You stop asking if it's easy and start asking if it's worth it. And you push, not because it's fun, but because you refuse to go backward. The world rewards those who stay in the fight. When it gets tough, who don't need cheering, who don't need applause, who don't need perfect conditions, who don't wait for a second wind, but create their own momentum. You have that inside you, but you'll never find it if you quit when it gets hard. Start observing the voices in your head when you're tired. Catch the moment when your thoughts turn soft, when they say it's not that serious, or you've done more than enough. Understand this. Those are the thoughts that cost people their goals, not the big obstacles, not the critics. The voice in their own head convincing them to ease up when you decide right then to keep going, to squeeze out one more rep, to write one more page, to run one more mile. You rewire everything. You flip the script. You teach yourself that your limits are just suggestions. And once you start doing that often enough, something powerful happens. You become the kind of person who doesn't break when it gets tough. You become dangerous to doubt. You become disciplined by choice, not emotion. This is where people either grow or give up. When they hit resistance, when things get messy, when the outcomes don't show up right away. The difference between those who win and those who watch is simple. Who keeps pushing when there's no reward in sight? Don't wait for motivation to get you back up. It won't. Use your pain. Use your hunger. Use your refusal to settle for average. Use the image of the person you said you want to become and chase it like your life depends on it. Because it does. You can quit and feel temporary relief, or you can push and feel permanent pride. That's the truth. Every single time you choose to go further than your mind says you can, you break through a limit that used to control you. And slowly, you stop being the person who backs down. You stop letting weakness vote. You stop compromising your stand. You become the person who shows up when it's inconvenient, who finishes when no one's watching, who delivers without excuses. This is what builds real confidence. Not talking about it, not hoping for it, pushing when it's painful, going all in when it would be easier to pull back. That's where belief is earned. That's where strength is born. And that's where your future gets built. Rep by rep, choice by choice, one uncomfortable decision at a time. When your mind says quit, you have a decision to make. You can believe that voice and stop, or you can challenge it. You can push back. You can say not today. You can make your actions louder than your thoughts. You can choose progress over comfort every time. That voice will still come. It always does. But the more you choose not to listen, the weaker it becomes, and eventually it fades. Not because it disappeared, but because you became stronger than it. You trained yourself to ignore the noise. You proved that you don't break under pressure. You rise through it. So here's the truth. Nothing extraordinary comes from giving half your effort. No breakthrough comes from stopping early. If you want to rise, you've got to be willing to do what most won't. That means giving your all when your energy is low, showing up when motivation disappears, finishing strong when it would be easier to walk away. That's the difference between those who get by and those who win. So the next time your mind says you've had enough, remember why you started. Remember what's at stake. Remember who you promised yourself you'd become, and push harder, stronger, louder than the quit voice. That's how you take control. That's how you grow. And that's how you win. One choice at a time. Number 5. Build a routine that keeps you mentally strong. If you don't take control of your days will take control of you. And they'll pull you into stress, distraction, anxiety, and weakness before you even realize it. You wake up, check your phone, scroll through other people's lives, and wonder why yours feels out of balance. That's not a life, that's a reaction. That's survival. And you were never meant to live on autopilot. Mental strength isn't something you wake up with one morning. It's built brick by brick, choice by choice, through a deliberate routine that shapes the way you think, feel, and act. If your days have no structure, your mind becomes chaotic. And when your mind is chaotic, everything suffers. Your discipline, your clarity, your ambition. That's how people drift for years, slowly disconnecting from their own potential, thinking they're stuck, when really they just never built a system that supports their greatness. So here's the truth. Your routine is either making you stronger or it's making you weaker. There is no neutral. Every decision you make, what you do first thing in the morning, what you feed your mind, how you handle pressure, either reinforces strength or it invites softness. And when life hits hard, soft routines collapse. But solid ones, they keep you standing. You need to create days that sharpen your edge. You need practices that train your focus, build your patience, and harden your self-discipline. You don't become mentally strong by accident. You earn it. You build it in silence. You build it when no one's watching. You build it when you decide that how you live your hours is how you shape your entire future. Start by setting boundaries with your time. If your schedule is wide open, your energy will scatter. But when you carve out time for stillness, time for movement, time for reflection, time for focused work, you regain power. You stop living for notifications and start living with intention. You're not reacting to the world, you're creating your own. Your morning matters. The first hour sets the tone for everything that follows. And if you give that first hour away to chaos, you weaken your mindset before the day even begins. So protect it. Wake up with purpose. Don't check your phone. Breathe deeply. Move your body. Feed your mind something that stretches it. Something that reminds you who you're becoming, not who the world expects you to be. And then get to work. Focus on something that matters. Build momentum through action. Every time you stick to your plan, every time you do what you said you would, your confidence grows. And when confidence grows, fear shrinks. That's how mental strength multiplies. It's not about big wins. It's about consistency. It's about showing up, even when it's boring, even when you're tired, even when no one's clapping. That's what builds power. Most people sabotage themselves through inconsistency. They do something powerful one day and then disappear the next. They wait for motivation instead of creating. But if you want to be unshakable, you've got to become predictable in your actions. You have to be the kind of person who follows through, no matter how they feel. That's what separates strength from weakness. Discipline in the face of distraction. Strong routine also includes recovery, not laziness. Recovery. Time to reset your nervous system. Time to breathe, reflect, reset. Mental strength isn't about being busy all the time. It's about being intentional. When you know when to push and when to pause, you gain control over your energy. You don't burn out. You don't collapse under stress. You manage your state like a professional. Start paying attention to how your habits shape your thinking. The food you eat, the people you listen to, the content you consume, the conversations you allow, they all build or break your mindset. A strong mind needs strong input. You can't feed it junk all day and expect focus. You can't surround yourself with negativity and expect peace. Everything matters. Everything leaves a mark. It's not about aesthetic. It's about control. It's about creating a routine that helps you stay ready. So when life throws the unexpected at you, and it will, you don't crumble. You adapt. You respond with clarity. You make smart decisions, not desperate ones. And that kind of power doesn't come from hope. It comes from habits that sharpen your resilience every single day. Mental toughness is built in the silence, when you're alone and no one's watching, when the rewards aren't obvious, when you're tired but you show up anyway. That's where the edge is forged. And once you build that edge, the world feels different. You stop chasing comfort. You start chasing growth. You stop being thrown off by the small things. You stay grounded, focused, calm, even in chaos. And when people ask you how you stay so steady, how you stay so focused, how you keep showing up with strength, you'll know it's because of your routine, the one you built with intention, the one that protects your mindset like armor, the one that doesn't bend just because life gets loud. So if you're tired of feeling scattered, tired of feeling weak, tired of watching other people grow while you stand still, look at your routine. That's where the answers are. That's where your breakthrough is hiding. You don't need a new plan. You need better habit. You need a process that builds you up instead of draining you. You need days that strengthen your discipline, your focus, your belief. Build a routine that makes quitting hard. Build a routine that keeps you connected to your purpose. Build a routine that doesn't collapse when pressure shows up. Because when the storms of life hit, your emotions will try to pull you down. But if your routine is strong enough, it will carry you through. You don't need to feel ready. You don't need perfect timing. You just need to decide. Right now, decide that your days will no longer be run by chaos. Decide that your life is worth more than comfort. Decide that every single morning is an opportunity to grow into someone stronger than you were yesterday. And if you failed before, that's fine. Start again. But this time, go all. Don't build a routine based on feeling. Build one based on identity. Decide who you want to be, and then let your habits reflect that. Let your daily structure remind you of your power. Let it become the anchor that holds you steady, no matter how rough life gets. Because once your routine becomes your foundation, you no longer chase discipline. It lives in you. You don't need to find strength. It shows up when you call it. You become the kind of person who doesn't just survive the hard seasons, but grows through them with calm, with courage, and with unstoppable clarity. Number 6, speak to yourself like someone who believes. If you talk to your best friend the way you talk to yourself, would they feel loved or broken? Most people lose the battle long before they take the first step, because their mind is poisoned with silent self-doubt. It's not the world holding them back. It's the voice inside their head that whispers, "You're not ready. You always fail. Who do you think you are?" That voice becomes the cage. That voice becomes the chain. That voice becomes the reason they never rise. But what if you spoke to yourself like someone who believed? What if your inner dialogue was no longer a battlefield, but a sanctuary? What if your mind became a place where strength was grown, not stolen? Here's the truth that most people never confront. The most powerful conversation you'll ever have is the one you have with yourself every day. That voice in your head, it can become your coach or your executioner. It can lift you or destroy you. And if you don't take control of it, it will take control of you. Every time you look in the mirror and speak doubt, every time you narrate failure before you even try, every time you tell yourself that you're not good enough, you reinforce a reality that doesn't deserve to be yours. Your self-talk becomes your identity. You begin to live inside the story you repeat to yourself, and that story becomes your truth. Even when it's a lie, you have to make a decision right now that the way you speak to yourself will change, because your words are not neutral. They are seeds, and what you plant, you grow. Speak defeat, and you'll grow hesitation. Speak strength, and you'll grow courage. It starts with language. It starts with the quiet words you whisper in moments no one else can hear. Think about it. How many times have you wanted to try something new, and before anyone could doubt you, you doubted yourself first? How many dreams did you bury before they even had a chance to breathe? Not because the dream wasn't real, but because you didn't speak life into it. You spoke fear. You spoke hesitation. You spoke disbelief. And disbelief kills faster than failure ever will. You don't need more motivation. You don't need more time. You don't need anyone's permission. What you need is a shift in your inner language. You need to speak to yourself like someone who's been through fire and came out with purpose. You need to talk to yourself like a warrior who's still standing after every storm. Because the truth is, you are. You've survived every dark day. You've pushed through every breakdown. You've carried burdens in silence. You've healed wounds without applause. So why do you still speak to yourself like you're fragile? You're not fragile. You're fierce. But that fierceness must be fed, and you feed it through words that build instead of break. Start small. When you wake up, before the world has a chance to shape your mood, speak strength. Say it out loud. I'm built for more. I don't shrink from pressure. I rise in it. I don't follow fear. I face it. I may fall, but I rise smarter, sharper, stronger. This isn't fake positivity. This isn't delusion. This is how you take ownership of your mind. This is how you rewrite the narrative that failure taught you. Every word is a weight, and you can either carry weakness or build strength with it. Your subconscious listens closely to how you talk to yourself, and it doesn't judge it. It obeys. Feed it limitation, and it will limit you. Feed it confidence, and it will unlock power. So stop repeating words that were planted by people who never understood your purpose. Stop echoing the voices that doubted you. Start choosing your own. Because you can't build a strong life on weak language. You can't rise while dragging the weight of your own insults, and no one else is coming to fix this for you. That voice is yours. It's your responsibility to reshape, to rewire it, to transform it into a force that drives you instead of a force that drowns you. Let's be real. There will always be outside noise. Critics, doubters, comparison, expectations. But none of them matter if your inner voice is locked in. If you're rooted in self-belief, no storm can shake you. You become grounded, unmoved, determined. Because belief isn't about arrogance. It's about alignment. You stop chasing validation when you trust your own value. You don't need to be perfect to believe in yourself. You just need to be honest. Honest about where you are, and committed to where you're going. Speak to yourself with the same grace you give others. Speak to yourself with the same belief you wish someone gave you. And then watch what happens. Watch how you move different. Watch how you bounce back faster. Watch how you take risks, not because you're fearless, but because your belief is stronger than your fear. The world breaks everyone, but not everyone rebuilds. You want to rebuild? Then start with your language. Start with your self-respect. Start with that voice in your head that says, "You've got this." Even when the path looks dark. That's how warriors are made. Not by muscle, but by mindset. You want to win this year, then your voice has to match your vision. Your self-talk has to match your stand. Stop tearing yourself down just to make the fall hurt less. Start lifting yourself up so the climb feels possible. Stop saying "I can't." Stop saying "maybe." Stop saying "someday." Replace them with "I will." "I must." Now. If no one has told you today, you are capable, you are worthy, you are enough. And it's time you start saying that to yourself. Not once, not when things are going well, but every single day, especially on the days when your energy is low and your doubts are loud. That's when your voice matters most. Speak like you believe, and soon enough, you will. Speak like a leader, and you'll rise like one. Speak like your future depends on it, because it does. And if you build this habit, if you stay consistent, if you feed your mind strength every single day, then nothing can stop you from becoming the person you were always meant to be. Now go look in the mirror, not to check how you look, but to remind yourself who you are. Speak your name with pride. Speak your vision with fire. Speak your story with strength. Because if you don't believe in you, who will? And when the world gets loud again, when doubt tries to sneak back in, you'll be ready. Not because the noise went away, but because your inner voice grew louder. And that's when everything changes. That's when the shift begins. That's when the breakthrough starts. So speak like someone who believes, and then go live like it. Number 7. Track every win to remind yourself you're growing. You're growing, but you keep forgetting because you never stop to acknowledge it. Every day you fight battles no one sees. You conquer thoughts that used to destroy you. You make decisions that a past version of you wouldn't even believe were possible. But instead of giving yourself credit, you move the finish line. You dismiss the progress. You ignore the small victories. And that silence is killing your momentum. You're not stuck, you're just not tracking how far you've come. Growth doesn't always come with fireworks. Sometimes it comes in whispers. Waking up earlier than you used to. Saying no to what once tempted you. Getting back up quicker after falling. These are wins. These are breakthrough. But if you don't count them, they fade. And if they fade, you forget that you're changing. You forget that you're becoming something stronger. Most people walk around believing they're not evolving, when the truth is, they're just not recording it. They're not paying attention to the proof. They're not writing down the evidence. They're too busy chasing what's next to appreciate what they've already survived. That's why you feel like you're losing, even when you're not. You've made progress, you've made adjustments. You've shown up on the days when you didn't want to. You've pushed through fears, rebuilt your confidence, faced discomfort, and kept going when everything in you wanted to stop. But none of that matters if you don't track it. None of that becomes fuel if you don't capture it. Think about it every time you achieve something, and immediately move on without celebrating it. You train your brain to ignore progress. You teach yourself that nothing is ever good enough, that you're always behind, that your growth doesn't count. But that's a lie. And if you don't rewrite that script, you'll burn out chasing a goal that keeps disappearing. You want to stay motivated? You want to stay consistent? Then you need to start documenting your wins. Write them, speak them, reflect on them, because progress is like a flame. It only keeps burning if you feed it. And your wins are the wood that keep that fire alive. Start today. Don't wait for some huge achievement to celebrate. Start with what you already did this week. Did you keep a promise to yourself? Did you resist an old temptation? Did you take a step that scared you? That's a win. Write it down, burn it into your memory. Let your brain know this matters. Tracking wins isn't just about feeling good. It's about building momentum. It's about anchoring your identity in truth, not insecurity. When you have a record of your wins, you have proof that you're becoming who you said you would be. You stop doubting. You stop stalling. You start trusting your process. And here's the beautiful part. When life hits you hard, and it will, that list becomes your weapon. On the days when doubt screams louder than belief, you'll have something real to fight back with. A record of resilience, a personal history of strength. You won't need anyone to remind you who you are, because you'll have the evidence in front of you. You'll remember that you've come through worse. You've risen from setbacks. You've learned from pain. You've kept moving when the road was dark. And if you did it then, you can do it now. This is how confidence is built. Not by waiting for people to applaud you, but by recognizing your own growth, by celebrating it consistently, and by letting those wins shape your identity. Don't underestimate what tracking your progress can do. It sharpens your awareness. It lifts your spirit. It reminds you that you're not the same person you were 6 months ago. You've matured. You've disciplined yourself. You've adapted. And even if you still feel behind, it's only because you're aiming higher. Most people give up not because they're weak, but because they forget how far they've already climbed. They compare themselves to others and feel small. But comparison dies when you focus on your own journey. When you track your own victories, when you stay locked in on your own evolution. This is your story. And if you're not documenting it, who will? Don't wait for the world to validate you. Validate yourself. Don't wait for a big win. Honor the small ones, because those small ones add up. They compound. They build confidence. They make you unshakable. Growth is not a straight line. It's messy. It's emotional. It's full of detours and slow climbs. But if you track it, if you honor every inch you gain, you'll stay focused. You'll stay inspired. You'll start waking up with purpose, not pressure. You don't need to change everything at once. You just need to recognize the changes you've already made. And when you do, your mindset shifts. You stop focusing on what's missing and start appreciating what's building. So from this moment on, start tracking. Not tomorrow, not when it's convenient. Right now. Grab a notebook, start a note in your phone, create a daily habit of writing down what you did right, what you improved, what you overcame. Don't make it complicated. Just make it honest. And every time you feel like giving up, open that list. Read your wins out loud. Remind yourself, I'm not who I used to be. I'm moving forward. I'm growing. Because I track it. Let your past victories be the foundation for your future strength. Let your story remind you how powerful you already are. And never again let a single day of progress go unrecognized. Because when you track your growth, you build belief. When you build belief, you create discipline. When you stay disciplined, you become unstoppable. So start today. Track every win. Fuel your mind. Lock in your momentum. And remind yourself every day, you're becoming something greater. Number 8, walk away from people who doubt your vision. If they can't see your vision, they have no business being near your future. You don't need permission to become who you were born to be. You don't need validation to chase what's calling you. The truth is, the people who doubt your vision will always speak louder than the ones who support it. Because doubt is louder than belief to the untrained mind. And if you're not careful, their voice becomes your inner voice. Their limitations become your fear. Their disbelief becomes your hesitation. But not anymore. Because your vision isn't up for debate. It's not a group project. It's not a democracy. It's yours, raw, real, and deeply personal. You saw it in your soul long before anyone else even noticed you were serious. You felt it pulling at you, while everyone else stayed comfortable. That's not random. That's purpose. And you don't owe anyone an explanation for chasing it. People will doubt you not because you're wrong, but because they're afraid. They've settled. They made excuses. They've convinced themselves that average is safety. So when you dare to dream different, it threatens them. It exposes their own compromises. So instead of cheering for you, they whisper behind your back. They roll their eyes. They make jokes. But deep down, they're scared of your courage. Because your courage reminds them that they gave up on theirs. That's why you must protect your vision like it's oxygen. Don't argue. Don't defend. Don't explain yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. Just walk away, calmly, quietly, without anger. Because your energy is too sacred to be wasted trying to convince the small-minded. Every second you spend trying to prove yourself to people who don't even believe in themselves is a second stolen from your destiny. You've got places to be, things to build life, to create that matches the fire you feel inside. And none of that can happen if you keep allowing doubters a seat at your table. Let them go. Let them talk. Let them laugh. Because the truth is, they won't laugh when they see the result. They won't joke when they see you do what they said was impossible. And they won't doubt when you become undeniable. But by then, it'll be too late. They'll watch from a distance, stunned by what you became when you finally stopped needing their approval. And maybe you've held on too long already. Maybe you've kept certain people around because of history, or guilt, or comfort. But the longer you let them stay, the heavier your vision becomes. It gets buried under their negativity, suffocated by their doubt, blurred by their confusion. You start second-guessing, you start delaying, you start shrinking to fit in, when you were born to stand out. It's time to cut the cord, not with hate, but with clarity. This is your life, this is your shot, and the only way to fully honor your vision is to walk away from what dishonors it. You don't have time to keep dragging people who were never meant to come with you. You don't have the luxury of explaining yourself to people who stopped growing years ago. You have one job: to protect the calling inside you, like it's the most valuable thing you own, because it is. Vision is fragile in the beginning. It needs nurturing. It needs discipline. It needs silence and space to breathe. And the wrong people can kill it before it ever has the chance to live. That's not paranoia. That's wisdom. So look around. Who are you sharing your dreams with? Who are you letting influence your direction? Who are you giving power to shape how you see yourself? If the answer isn't people who believe in you, who challenge you to go higher, who hold you accountable to your greatness, then it's time to make a change. You don't owe anyone a seat in your future just because they were in your past. Loyalty to growth must always come before loyalty to comfort. And if someone can't handle your ambition, they're not built to walk beside your destiny. Don't fear walking alone for a while. Don't fear the silence. Sometimes isolation is the greatest gift. It's in those quiet seasons that you finally hear your own voice again. You remember why you started. You reignite your hunger. And when the noise fades, so does the fear. You don't need the crowd. You don't need consensus. All you need is a relentless commitment to what you know is true inside. Because vision always starts with one person crazy enough to believe they can do it. One soul willing to walk alone, if that's what it takes. One mind strong enough to say, I will not shrink for anyone. Be that one. Decide today that you will no longer give access to people who drain you, that your vision matters more than their comfort, that your future matters more than fitting in. Choose yourself, not out of ego, but out of purpose. Choose the life that sets your soul on fire over the approval of those who've never even lit a spark. There is no greatness without separation, no clarity without distance, no breakthrough without letting go of what holds you back. So this is your moment. Let go, walk away, and walk forward into the life that only you can build. And when the world asks what happened to you, just smile and say, I finally started believing in myself more than I believed in their doubt. Now go, build what they said you couldn't, and don't look back. Number 9, take one bold action when fear shows up. Fear will always show up, but your courage is measured by what you do, the moment it arrives. You felt it before, that cold, heavy weight in your chest when the unknown looms large. The paralyzing question, what if I fail, echoing louder than your confidence. That gut-wrenching hesitation, the pause that tries to stop your progress dead in its tracks. Fear is relentless. sneaky, and it thrives on your silence. But the power isn't in avoiding fear. The power is in taking one bold step forward the moment it shows up. Imagine for a second what life would look like if every time fear whispered doubts in your ear, you responded with action so fierce it shattered the silence. That one move, no matter how small or uncomfortable, becomes the spark that lights your path through the darkness. Because the truth is, fear only controls you when you stand still. But when you move, when you do something bold, fear loses its grip instantly. There was a time when the greatest leaders, creators, and change makers stood exactly where you stand now. Their hearts raced with uncertainty. Their minds screamed with, "What if?" But then they acted. They stepped forward into the unknown with a boldness that seemed crazy at the time. That moment of action was their declaration. I refuse to be a prisoner to fear. You're not weaker than your fears. You're stronger than the moment you choose to overcome them. Every bold move you make builds a muscle of courage inside you. Each step forward rewires your mind, proving again and again that fear is just a feeling, not a fact. And when you keep acting despite it, the feeling of fear shrinks until it's no longer the boss of you. Remember, action doesn't have to be huge. It can be as simple as sending that email you've been avoiding, speaking up in that meeting, making a phone call, or taking the first step toward a dream you've been putting off. The size of the action is irrelevant. The significance lies in the decision to move at all. When fear rises, it's tempting to wait for the perfect moment, for the right time, more confidence, or clearer answers. But perfection is an illusion. Waiting only gives fear more power and more time to grow louder in your mind. The truth is, the perfect moment doesn't exist. There is only now. And this moment is your chance to tell fear, I see you, but I choose to move anyway. You must realize something essential. Fear is often a signpost, pointing to what matters most. When something truly matters, fear will show up. It's a signal, not a stop sign. Your dreams, your growth, your future, these come wrapped in the discomfort of fear. So instead of running from it, run towards it. Take one bold step right into the face of what's holding you back. I want you to visualize a time when you allowed fear to win. How did it feel afterward? The weight of regret, the what if haunting your nights. Now imagine the opposite, a moment when you ignored the fear and acted boldly. The rush of pride, the surge of confidence, that undeniable knowing that you are capable of so much more than you believe. Every bold action breaks the cycle of fear's control. Each victory, no matter how small, rewires your brain to expect success rather than failure. Courage is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. So if you want to become unstoppable, you must train yourself to act every time fear knocks at your door. This isn't about reckless bravado. It's about a calm, deliberate refusal to be paralyzed. It's about choosing to trust yourself when your mind screams doubt. It's about proving to yourself over and over that fear is not your master. You are. Now here's the secret that no one talks about. The first bold action you take is the hardest. The second is easier. The third becomes natural. And soon fear loses all its power over you. You build momentum that propels you into new levels of confidence and success you never thought possible. When fear shows up next time, don't analyze it to death. Don't seek permission from others. Don't let your mind spiral into worst-case scenario. Take a deep breath and ask yourself one question. What's one bold action I can take right now? Then do it. Let the courage inside you outshine the fear trying to keep you small. But action is your weapon. It's the antidote to doubt, hesitation, and uncertainty. When you act boldly, you reclaim your power. You rewrite your story from I'm scared to I'm unstoppable. You send a message to the universe that you're ready for what's next, no matter how scary it looks. You've already survived every fear you've ever faced. This one is no different. The difference today is you don't have to face it alone. You have your own fierce resolve. You have the wisdom that fear is temporary, but regret lasts forever. You have the strength to take one step, then another until you've moved mountains. The world rewards those who move forward despite fear. It embraces those who dare to risk discomfort for growth. Your future self is waiting to thank you for the bold action you take today. Don't let fear steal that gift from you. So stand up right now and make that move. Send the message loud and clear to fear. You don't control me. I am the author of my life. I will take one bold action, and then the next, until I break through every barrier. This is your moment to rise, to conquer, to show fear who's really in charge. Now go and do it. Take that bold step. Your courage starts here. Number 10, remind yourself why you started every single day. Every morning you wake up, you have a choice. A choice to either remember why you began, or to let the day slip away in doubt and distraction. The secret to unstoppable momentum isn't in grand plans or perfect circumstances. It's in the simple, powerful act of reminding yourself why you started. Think back to the very first spark that lit your fire. The moment when your heart swelled with a dream so vivid, it consumed your every thought. Maybe it was to build a better life for those you love. Maybe it was to prove to yourself that you are capable of more. Maybe it was a burning desire to break free from what holds you back. Whatever your reason, it was pure, powerful, and personal. That reason is your anchor. It is the fuel that will keep you moving when motivation fades. When the alarm feels like an enemy and the weight of the day presses down, that reason can lift you up. Without it, progress feels like a grind. With it, every step feels like a victory. But here's the catch. You must bring it into your mind every single day. Not just once, not just when it's convenient, but every day. Imagine starting your day with a clear reminder of your purpose. Your why acts like a compass, guiding your decisions, your actions, and your mindset. It sharpens your focus, cuts through noise, and silences the doubts that creep in. The why is your internal fire that no storm can extinguish. We all face moments when the path feels uncertain, when progress seems slow, and the temptation to quit grows loud. Those are the times your why becomes critical. It reminds you that the struggle is temporary, but the prize is lasting. It whispers, keep going. You started for a reason. When you remember why you began, pain becomes a signal of growth, not a reason to stop. Let me tell you about Sarah. She was stuck in a job that drained her energy, robbed her confidence, and dimmed her dreams. Every morning was a battle to get out of bed. But she had one thing that saved her. She remembered why she started building her own business. It wasn't just about money or success. It was about creating freedom for her family and showing her children what is possible. That simple reminder shifted her entire mindset. It gave her strength to push through doubt, rejection, and exhaustion. Sarah's why wasn't a vague thought. It was a living, breathing force that pulled her out of despair and into action. Your why is sacred. It deserves more than to be buried under to-do lists or forgotten in the rush of life. It needs to be seen, heard, and felt every morning. That's why the most successful people in the world start their day by reconnecting with their purpose. They know that clarity of why is the difference between giving up and breaking through. Take a moment now to ask yourself, what made me start this journey? What pain did I want to heal? What dream was so important I risked everything? Write it down if you have to. Speak it out loud. Let it burn inside you again. This is not a one-time exercise. It's a daily ritual that transforms ordinary days into powerful steps forward. When you remind yourself why you started, you turn setbacks into lessons. You shift frustration into fuel. You change exhaustion into excitement. That purpose is your shield against distraction, comparison, and fear. It reminds you that your story matters and that your dreams deserve your unwavering commitment. It's natural for your mind to wander and your focus to blur. Life throws challenges, unexpected detours, and moments of doubt. But the habit of daily remembrance rewires your brain to stay locked on your vision. It makes resilience automatic. It trains your heart to stay loyal to your deepest ambitions, even when the world screams to quit. You might be tempted to think you'll remember your why later, after you achieve more, after you feel ready, after things get easier. But the truth is, the longer you wait, the more distant it becomes. Action taken without purpose is like a ship without a rudder, aimless and vulnerable. The greatest breakthroughs happen when your daily actions align with your original reason for starting. Here's another truth. Your why might evolve. That's okay. Growth means change, but the core of your purpose, what moves you deeply, remains a compass. Check in with it often. Let it grow as you grow. Let it remind you why you're still standing when others might have given up. Imagine every morning becoming a moment of ignition, where you reignite that flame inside you. You get out of bed with certainty and strength because you know exactly what you're fighting for. The battles that once felt overwhelming shrink because your why is bigger than every obstacle. Now picture your future self. Successful, fulfilled, proud. This future you is built on countless mornings of remembering why you started. Each day, no matter how hard, you chose to connect with that powerful reason. Each morning was a promise kept to yourself. So how do you make this real today? Start by creating a simple but powerful ritual. Maybe it's writing your why on a sticky note and putting it where you can see it every morning. Maybe it's a few moments of quiet reflection or speaking your purpose aloud. Whatever it is, commit to it daily. Let it be the first thing you do before distractions pull you away. When fear, doubt, or fatigue try to steal your focus, bring your why back to the front of your mind. Let it be the loudest voice you hear, because in that voice lives your power, your passion, and your promise to yourself. The journey you're on is not easy, but it is worth it, and you owe it to yourself to remember why you started. Every single day. This simple act will transform frustration into fuel, weakness into strength, and hesitation into unstoppable momentum. Remembering why you began is not just motivation. It's a lifeline to your dream. Now go and make today count. Wake up, remind yourself why you started, and watch how your life changes because of it. The power is in your hands. Keep your purpose close and never let it go.